Egypt. The name itself conjures images of colossal pyramids piercing the sky, golden pharaohs resting in eternal slumber gods with the heads of animals judging the souls of the dead. For thousands of years this land has held a magnetic pull on the human imagination. It is a place where history is not just written in books, etched into stone buried beneath layers of sand whispered on the desert wind. We have all seen the pictures, we have all heard the stories of King Tut's curse, Cleopatra's legendary beauty. But what if I told you that everything we know is just the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the pyramid? The real secrets are not always basking in the sun, they are hidden deep, deep underground. The allure of ancient Egypt is a powerful thing. It is a siren's call to explorers, historians, and adventurers like me. We are drawn by the promise of the unknown, to solve a puzzle thousands of years old. Every grain of sand seems to hold a story, every broken piece of pottery a clue to a lost world. The ancient Egyptians were masters of concealment. They built their tombs to be secret, their sacred texts hidden, and their cities to withstand time. They wanted legacy to last for eternity, and to protect it. This paradox creates the ultimate treasure hunt, where the prize is not gold, but knowledge. Imagine standing at the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza. You feel small, humbled by its scale and ambition. Now imagine, beneath your feet, a whole other world could exist. A network of tunnels, hidden chambers, undiscovered tombs. Prepare to descend into the hidden world of ancient Egypt. So, you want to be an archaeologist in Egypt? The first question is always the same. Where do you even start? The country is vast, a massive sandbox filled with potential treasures. You cannot just pick a spot and dig, that is a needle in a continent-sized haystack. It is a careful science, ancient knowledge meets modern detective work. Archaeologists are historical detectives building a treasure map. They pore over texts, Herodotus, hieroglyphic records, pointing to forgotten temples, lost cities, hidden burials. Sometimes the clues are on the landscape. A strange mound, a shift in soil color, plants growing where they should not. Local farmers and Bedouins stumble on pottery and coins, accidents that spark major discoveries. The real game changer, seeing without digging. Satellites capture infrared images that outline buried walls, streets, entire cities through thermal and moisture differences. Satellite archaeology pinpoints thousands of sites. Teams can be precise, saving time, money, effort. Ground-penetrating radar sends radio waves into the earth. Signals bounce off walls, sarcophagi, mapping what lies below. Magnetometers trace tiny variations from buried objects. Texts, local knowledge, satellite imagery, ground scans, together form a 3D map beneath your feet. Only then do they break ground. Once the X marks the spot, the real work begins. Slow, meticulous, surgical. Trowels scrape millimeter by millimeter, brushes, big to tiny, clean the past from the present. Every shovelful is sifted, from tiny beads to fragments of bone. Nothing is lost. Layers are time, depth, position, measured, photographed, recorded. Without context, an artifact is just an old object. At sealed tombs, they do not break doors. They drill a tiny hole, send in miniature cameras, archaeobots, to scout and assess stability before entry. Below the water table, deep shafts demand retaining walls and caissons to prevent collapse. Pumps work around the clock to hold back the groundwater. It is construction married to archaeology. Hard hats alongside delicate brushes, old-school craft and modern power, reaching places the ancients never thought we would. When we talk about deep digs in Egypt, we are not talking about a few extra feet. We are plunging into the earth, descending through history, into the ancient and the alien. One legendary deep excavation, the Osirion at Abydos, behind the temple of Seti I, built of granite blocks, some near 100 tons, set in a colossal pit now flooded. Early 20th century digs were brutal. Pioneers like Flinders Petrie and Margaret Murray fought flooding with pumps just to glimpse the temple floor. On the Giza Plateau, locals long knew a mysterious shaft by the Sphinx, fully explored only in the 1990s. Dr. Zahi Hawass led a team down a multi-level complex over 100 feet deep. Narrow, dark, unstable, teams lowered in a simple bucket, into suffocating darkness. At the bottom, water-filled tunnels to a final chamber. There, a massive granite sarcophagus floating in murky water, ringed by 4 pillars, an Osiris sign. Not a pharaoh's tomb, but a symbolic burial for a god. Digging, pumping, exploring, and confined hazards. Among Egypt's boldest excavations. It proved Giza's secrets lay not only in the pyramids, but far beneath them. The Osiris shaft, a pit once dismissed as a curiosity, drew Hawass deeper, convinced Giza's secrets also lay with gods below. 30 feet down, an empty chamber. A second shaft led 50 feet deeper, cooler, damper. They found rooms with sarcophagi from around 600 BC, a place reused over centuries. A final vertical plunge, 40 feet into bedrock. At nearly 120 feet, water, the lowest level fully flooded. Modern pumps lowered the water, inch by inch. A subterranean hall emerged. At its center, a massive black granite sarcophagus on an island in an underground lake. It was empty, yet powerful. A symbolic tomb of Osiris that redefined Giza's sacred landscape. Pyramids reached heaven for Ra, the watery underworld honored Osiris. In the flooded chamber, pottery, bones, amulets, offerings left for the god thousands of years ago. At Saqqara, a deep shaft yielded a sealed chamber untouched for over 26 centuries. Inside, over 100 perfectly preserved wooden sarcophagi stacked high, colors and hieroglyphs as bright as yesterday. Scans first, then careful openings. Within, mummies in linen, many with golden masks and beaded shrouds. Alongside them, hundreds of deity statues, canopic jars, beautifully carved boxes, an undisturbed funeral assemblage, like a community waiting in the dark. As one local said, every time we open a coffin, we are the first to see this face in thousands of years. An honor, and like waking someone from a long sleep. These finds expand our picture of Egyptian life. Workshops crafting coffins over decades for officials, priests, and citizens. It was a thriving business. The business of eternity. The Osiris shaft shows mythology as architecture. A watery home for rebirth and the Nile flood. They built beliefs into landscape. Heaven, earth, the underworld, all connected. Shabtis, servant statues, were believed to awaken and work for the deceased. Hundreds in a tomb promised a comfortable afterlife. Consider the engineering to cut a 100-foot shaft with simple tools. The artistry to paint colors that last 2,500 years. The faith to build a symbolic tomb for a god. Egyptian archaeology today is science and reverence, with local teams as true guardians. As Dr. Hawass said, you are breaking a silence of 5,000 years, breathing the smell of history, magic, secrets. Generations of workers read sand and stone, spotting signs no gadget can. Have we found it all? Not even close. Perhaps 30% discovered, 70% buried, under sand, under cities beneath the Nile. What awaits? Cleopatra and Antony near Alexandria, Imhotep's tomb, Ramesses VIII, Nefertiti, new satellites, agile robots, archaeogenetics, tools unlocking doors we cannot yet see. So when you see the pyramids, remember, the real story lies deep, dark, and silent. Still waiting. Egypt's sands are not a resting place. They are a library with books buried deep. The adventure is just beginning. The whispers of the past are calling, and the next to answer might be you. The greatest expedition is always the next one.